Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. If we're going to start that, you're going to leave that in, aren't you?
No comment.
Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. 1 year ago today, we're recording this on Sunday, March 14th. My husband Zeke and I were on our way down to San Diego to pick up our son Adam from San Diego State.
Oh, by the way, Happy Pie Day.
Okay, whatever. So anyway, earlier in the week, I kind of been hearing a little bit about what was going on in the rest of the world and what some of the other universities were doing, and I was afraid that we were going to have a very short window in which to pick Adam up. Turned out to have been a very, very good decision, and we had him home 2 days before they gave the 48-hour notice that everybody needed to be out of the dorms. And so I debated about whether to do a 1-year reflection on the COVID-19 pandemic or not, because it seems like everybody's been doing them. And I decided that I wanted to do it, whether anybody watched it or not, really out of just to have for posterity, because this really was and continues to be an unprecedented time. I don't think I've said that in at least 6 to 9 months, but that was definitely something that we said very, very early on. And so then I debated about, do I do this in chronological order? Do I do this based on statistics, like the number of times I've actually been out of the house, or how long I was in the house, or the number of times I cooked, or the number of times I flipped out, or the number of YouTube videos, all of the random data. But honestly, I'm too lazy to go back and figure all that out. So I decided to break this up into 2 parts. So the first part is really going to be a highlight reel of pretty much in chronological order about everything that has happened over the last year, and the second one is going to be on Violet. Violet just got a little bit antsy. The second one is going to be on the good things that have come out of the pandemic. When I mentioned the good things, Finn, what was your response?
What good things?
And the thing is that I'm a total silver lining kind of a gal, so of course there had to have been some good things that came out of it. Otherwise, how could I really bear what's happened over the last year? So we have been incredibly fortunate in continuing to be healthy, continuing to have work, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't been hard. And right now is especially hard for me. And I'm really struggling. I need to get out of the house. I need to be with other people. I need to feel like I'm doing something for me that is enriching. And every time I come up with something, I want to get out and go dancing. I want to take tap classes. I want to take culinary classes. I want, to do all sorts of things, but I want to travel. But because of the pandemic, a lot of things that would really make me feel good and happy and enriched and focused on what I want to do moving forward, it's all pretty much shut down because of the pandemic. You may be watching this from other parts of the world where things are more open. You may be watching this from other parts of the country where things are more open. And you also may be going, well, why the hell not get out there? Well, here in the San Francisco Bay Area, we are still, I think, in the red tier. So not everything is open, and also I don't want to be a part of the problem. Just like at the very beginning when I didn't really go out for the first, I want to say, 3 months. And finally in June, my friend Donna was concerned about my mental health and started to get me out. So yeah, and then I started hiking. So what I went ahead and I did is I kind of made note of, from a chronological perspective, of the things that happened, starting with when we picked Adam up on March 14th, 2020, and packed him up. He was not happy about it, but he really was quite a good sport in coming home until he actually got home, and then was miserable pretty much until August, when he went off to college. 2 days after he came home, his now ex-girlfriend Sophie came to live with us, which was both a blessing and a bit of a challenge at the same time. The blessing in that was that with her here in the house, we weren't able to revert back to the 4 of us and the family dynamics from when Adam was in high school. And the challenge was they hadn't been dating for very long. And I think they actually broke up a couple days before she left. And so that ended up being a bit of a challenge. But I was super proud of Adam getting a job at Key Market, being one of the essential workers, being really diligent about showing up. And Finn also went and started doing virtual, and Adam's virtual school, that was a total shit show, but Finn did pretty well with virtual school, really adapted fairly easily because they're very independent, and did pretty well, started middle college in August, but did end up hitting a wall, and now we're trying to get them out of the house more, get them to spend time with other people, because it's like, I think Finn has lost a year of social interaction and development that is
we
really...
all have.
Yeah, but I think it's really critical as a teenager. This is like a critical development time, and if you're going to be virtual through the end of December, and then the next time you're really going to be around a bunch of people your own age is when you go off to college, I think that's really going to be a challenge for you.
Yeah. College is going to be a challenge and a huge opportunity for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. In March, Zeke started working virtually for Woodcraft for Facebook, and his job turned into a social media job instead of a managing people and managing a wood shop, which is basically an amenity for the Facebook workers. He's now doing video editing, social media. It's not what he signed up for, but over the course of the last year, he's figured out how to make it work with him and his team, and still provide value. I was able to continue to consult virtually, and that was actually really great because then I didn't have to travel to my clients. As we moved forward, very early on, I started making dinners and realized after I hit the wall and watching or listening to a Brene Brown thing that I was basically overfunctioning. That under stress, I overfunction, hit the wall, got pissed off, and said, I'm out of the kitchen. Super fun times if we're looking back on it.
When you were out of the kitchen, you said you were on strike for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
That was... How long was that?
I think it was a good stop. Oh, how long was I? I did that for like 2 months straight, and then I was on strike for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now we've kind of settled into it. I had a really shitty 50th birthday. Fortunately, in November of 2019, I decided 2022 was when I was going to celebrate. Good thing. Can transition into who I want to be in the world during 2021. Hopefully things will open up, and it could be like Terri Unleashed in 2022. We unfortunately had to cancel our France trip in April. My friend Amen, who was in Paris when I was debating it, she's like, you're not going to be able to travel. This is going to get worse before it gets better. I was like in denial, and then I realized that she was absolutely right. And Amen, if you're watching this, I am now listening to you pretty much every single time you say something like that. As I talked about, I got out and started hiking in June for my mental health. In July, the tennis courts opened up, an opportunity to play tennis came about, so I took advantage of that, and that was all great until August when the heat hit. Do you even remember that? So then it got super hot, and then in September, California caught on fire.
Oh wait, I do remember that, because for my 16th birthday, I hung out with a couple friends, and we went to the park, and we just kind of lay on the ground in the shade because it was too hot to do anything.
Yes.
That's the only reason why I remember how hot it was.
Okay. Well, let me backtrack. I forgot about in June, we started seeing the Black Lives Matter marches and protests and the greater awareness about we really had clearer evidence of our country's embedded racism, and that led to all sorts of things that have continued to happen since then. As I said, September, October, the fires hit. In August, when we had the heat, a lot of us here in the Bay Area don't have air conditioning, and we couldn't go to the places, whether it was movie theaters or restaurants or malls, in order to get out of the heat. And so we all really suffered on levels that we hadn't suffered before. And then when the fires hit, we had to stay indoors, so we didn't even have the out of doors to even get into. So that was really a challenge. In December, we saw the dreaded surge, and we went into lockdown again here in California and in the San Francisco Bay Area, and that lasted until February? I think we started to come out of it. This isn't too.
Oh, thanks, bye.
And
just coughed on me.
Yeah,
ma'am.
The other thing that happened is starting in October, we started having the election concerns. November happened, and then we didn't really have the results, and then there was all the uncertainty and concerns until then. In January 6th, we had the Capitol riots and the insurrection. And every day that week, there seemed to be shitty things that were happening that were incredibly stressful. And that stress was only, we only felt relief after the inauguration. And since then, I know I talked to a couple friends today, because of the vaccine rollout, because of what the Biden and Harris administration have been doing, a lot of us feel hope and optimism and a lot less stress because we're not following the news about what is coming out of the White House as closely as we did before. So while we're seeing an increased opportunity for optimism and hope moving forward, we know it's not over. I'm starting to see some rumors about some surges. We don't know if we know that not everybody's going to take the vaccine, and we also don't know what the international impact is. So there's still a lot of uncertainty, but for a lot of us, we're still seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So here we are, and now what? As I said, I am a total silver lining person, and I want to talk about all the good things that have come out of this really, really crazy ass year. And I'll be talking about that in the next episode. So please go ahead and like this video, share it if you think somebody else might get something out of it. Subscribe so you'll get notified of Saturday's video where I talk about what good has come of it. And I just want to know from you, how are you feeling? How has this last year been for you? Go ahead and drop me an email at pilotingyourlife@gmail.com or drop a note in the comments. And I'd love to hear and be able to respond with that. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting over the last year through all of this. I hope that you were doing okay. And with that, let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.